Today, it's raining in Hanoi again. Can you hear the rain? It's been raining constantly all week, and getting around is just exhausting. Hello everyone, I'm Zan, and I'm 37 years old. Still the same, happily single, no family of my own, and no husband or kids. Today is my weekend off, so stick around and see what a normal day looks like for me. Just like any other day off, the very first thing I do when I get out of bed is roll up my sleeves and clean the bathroom. The walls in this old rental are water damaged, so every single week I have to take a brush and meticulously scrub every grout line and pour bleach down the drain. If I don't, the foul smell and mold become completely unbearable. Right now, I don't live alone. I'm sharing the place with a roommate. A lot of people ask why I still have a roommate at my age, but the reality is, rent in Hanoi is just incredibly expensive right now. With my salary of $400 a month, once you deduct food, transportation, and social obligations like weddings and funerals, there's just no way I could afford a nice, comfortable studio apartment all to myself. So, living together helps us split the rent and utility bills. Besides, coming home from work and having someone around to talk to and confide in makes things a bit more cheerful and definitely takes the edge off the loneliness. After working up a sweat from all that cleaning, it's time to treat myself to a proper breakfast. I head downstairs and leave the trash in the corner, since someone will come by to collect it this evening. Then, I walk just across from my rental and stop by a familiar noodle stall. Even though it's tucked away in an alley, the broth here is absolutely incredible. The flavor is so rich that it's always packed with people from the neighborhood. If you get here even a little late, there won't be any seats left. A generous bowl of bun here costs $1.40, which is a pretty affordable price. The noodles are piping hot, and taking a sip of that broth really warms my soul on a rainy, windy day like this. After a filling breakfast, I stop by the nearby market on my way home to pick up some fresh groceries for the rest of the day. Since it's a rainy day and I have some free time, I'm planning to treat myself to some traditional fried spring rolls. The market ground is wet from the rain. I stop by my usual vendor to grab some pork, a few eggs, a carrot, some wood ear mushrooms, and fresh herbs. Doing a quick mental calculation, my grocery bill this morning comes to exactly $2.60. Prices in Hanoi these days just seem to be skyrocketing in general. You bring money to the market, but you can hardly buy much of anything. Still, going through the hassle of buying groceries and cooking at home to split between two people works out to be way more economical and definitely more hygienic than eating out 3 meals a day. Once I get home and change out of my wet clothes, I head straight into the kitchen to start cooking so it's ready in time for lunch. I already had the vendor run the pork through the meat grinder at the market. Now, all I need to do is shred the carrot, slice the wood ear mushrooms, and then finely chop the fresh herbs. I toss all the ingredients into a large bowl, season it with a splash of fish sauce and some black pepper for aroma, crack in an egg, and mix it all together thoroughly. After that, I lay out the rice paper wrappers and start rolling them up, one by one. A lot of people shy away from making this dish because the prep work is tedious, the chopping is time-consuming, and the cleanup is exhausting. But the payoff is that once they're fried, they're incredibly crispy and delicious. Personally, I really love the feeling of being tucked away in my kitchen, carefully preparing traditional dishes by hand like this. The rhythmic chopping on the cutting board, and the sizzling sound of oil in the pan always give me a sense of nostalgia. They remind me of those big, full family dinners from the past. As I sit here meticulously rolling each spring roll, my mind wanders to my age, being 37. Every time I go back to my hometown or see relatives, they often look at me with pity and say, "Zhang, you're getting older. Why don't you find someone and get married? How long are you going to be this picky?" Hearing those pressures, I usually just smile and let it slide. It's not that I'm against marriage or that I don't want a family of my own. It's simply that busy life just sweeps you away, and I genuinely haven't met someone understanding enough to settle down with. Besides, when a woman approaches her 40s and has tasted enough of what life has to offer, I actually cherish my freedom and independence even more. Instead of rushing in blindly just to please society, I choose to let love take its natural course. If it's meant to be, it will happen. If not, I'll just live my own life well. Today's batch of spring rolls is deep fried, the outside turning a perfectly crispy golden brown. I pick up a piping hot roll, pair it with some rice noodles, and dip it generously into a bowl of sweet and sour fish sauce with garlic and chili. The flavors are perfectly balanced. It's incredibly satisfying and completely worth all the effort. After lunch, I clean up and lie down to rest, scrolling through my phone for a bit. By late afternoon, I get moving again, washing rice and prepping for dinner. For this evening, I'm planning to cook some rustic, simple dishes, boiled broccoli and a bowl of caramelized pork belly. The ingredients for tonight's dinner cost me exactly $4, and that even includes a few apples for dessert. The dinner spread is simple, just one savory meat dish and one vegetable dish, but it feels complete and goes down so well with rice. Personally, I really enjoy simple dinners like this, without any overly complicated prep. For the caramelized pork belly, you absolutely have to melt the sugar down to a deep caramel color. You keep the heat very low and let it simmer slowly, so the meat gets incredibly tender and the fat turns translucent. That's when it truly absorbs all the flavor. As for the broccoli, I time it so it's just cooked through to preserve that sweet crunch. I plate it up and dip it directly into some pure fish sauce. That's all the flavor it needs. Since today is my day off, once I'm done cleaning and washing the dishes, the rest of the time is entirely mine. I can comfortably sit on the sofa and leisurely finish reading my favorite book without having to worry about tomorrow's work pressures. With a salary of $400 a month, after deducting rent, food, and living expenses, I only have a tiny bit left to save. My life here in Hanoi is genuinely a daily struggle to make ends meet, but I'm not sad about it. I am always striving to move forward every single day. Now, it's time for me to turn off the lights and go to sleep. Tomorrow is Monday again. I'll be heading back to the daily grind and the familiar hustle to make a living. Thank you so much for stepping into my little corner of the world today. Goodbye, everyone.